New season, new patch notes, and a fresh round of buffs and nerfs that are definitely going to make some of you very unhappy. Meanwhile, that one agent we all hate, yeah, still busted. Today we're ranking every agent in Strinova after the latest balance and changes for Season 3. Who's climbing to S tier and who's getting hard stock F faster than a solo queue teammate who thinks they're the main character. Hey everyone, I'm May. I make content on Strinova. I was gonna say the hit game Strinova, but
Oh my god.
it's not looking so hit right now. Hello everyone, I'm May and I make content on Strinova, focusing on guides as well as trying to create more funnier and lighthearted videos. And I'm also gonna be streaming on my Twitch and streaming mostly Strinova. So with the balance and changes in the new economy in Strinova, let's dive in what I think from test server as well as being a long-time player of Strinova. Remember, just my personal opinion, please put down the pitchforks and just relax and get yourself a cup of tea and let's dive in. We're starting off strong with someone where I feel like the opinion is very, very streamlined. That is Ming. And where else should I place her than S tier? Ming got a few changes for Season 3, mainly that her passive skill from the armor absorption for summons is reduced to only 10% of the target's value, but that doesn't even feel like a nerf, because she got an entirely new passive which deals 10% bonus damage to enemies' armor, including summons. What was the point? What was the point? Ming in general is a really strong duelist. She focuses on entry. She charges in her square Q. She also has the strongest gun in the game. It has disgusting recoil, but the recoil within the game has been changed overall, by the way. So her gun feels a bit lighter now. The gun is still hard to control, but it's definitely better. Ming has strong awakenings that are focused on herself, mainly that she absorbs armor when dealing damage. That is why she can sustain herself for a really, really long time. Her ultimate also helps her with being able to sustain a lot, and Ming can easily clean out the entire team for her team. Next up is Levine. Levine has really, really good utility for her entire team. Mainly, I love that her first awakening is that upon dealing damage to enemy, the enemy is briefly revealed even without any scanner. It basically means that you cannot escape being scanned if Levine is in front of you or hunting you down. People are gonna know where you are either way, even without skills being active. Speaking of skills, Levine is the best vanguard in the game. She has really, really evil knife placements. She throws her knife and scans people within a certain area. And her awakening that is used most of the time is that her knife attaches onto the enemies. And that makes it really easy to see where they are due to this string. But if the person escapes this attachment, then the person is slowed briefly and you can easily catch them because there's no running away. You get so slowed down in this game. Any slows are just magnificently shit. Levine's ult is also really good. You can do some funny shenanigans and hide in there, deny bomb plans, especially if it's a 1v1 and you have Levine ult, it's basically one because you can be so evil. You can be hurt in the ultimate, so if it's multiply people, they're probably gonna hunt you down and jump around in your ultimate with the secondaries. Or you use it as a constant scanner. Get the ultimate onto places where people go through a lot of times because they can't do anything about it. They have to go through there, so they are gonna be scanned. Basically anything that Levine does reveals people, and that makes her really, really good. Moving on, we have Audrey. Audrey is gonna be the first character that is not S tier because she's A, like Audrey. Okay. Audrey wields a really strong machine gun, and she also gains a shield when she puts down her turret mode that can make her go sideways. There's basically no recoil, hit so precisely and perfectly that she is really, really good for beginners. In general, she is really good on defense because she can hold down narrow hallways and you won't get through. It's really funny when people think that they're trying to outplay Audrey by just waiting for her ammo to run out, only to realize that that takes 2 business days.
My gun hasn't had fun yet.
Audrey has a really good ultimate as well. She throws down all this fire and so much damage so quickly, and Audrey can easily kill everyone on there. The reason that I personally think Audrey is not S tier is because she can be outplayed so easily. If you can get an Audrey to turn to the side, best head snipes ever, 3 snipes, she is still, because she has a shield and she can tackle it. She doesn't have to care about dying. But the moment she turns to the side and she gets headshot, and that is why you can outplay her really easily. Once she's in turret mode, really dangerous. You have to play around her and it can be a little bit hard. That is also why I still think she is A. With a good team, it's hard to play around her. You have to actively play around her, but it's not that she is completely broken and a must pick. She's a must pick for certain maps, I think. Strong, not game breaking, and has minor things that make her not S tier. Moving to the first KOS character is Yvette. Put your pitchforks down. Okay, all of the 5 existing Yvette mains are shocked to the core, typing onto Reddit and getting this video demonetized. The problem with Yvette is that we have really strong controllers in the game. I think controller is one of the most, if not the most important role. Wording they use is really good. They control the battlefield. Issue is that KOS has options for a lot of controllers, so I feel like that Yvette is not getting picked most of the time, especially due to this. Being careful with your beer placement, because once he's down and you decide to ice one side and the enemies go to the other side, you are basically useless, and that is really frustrating. Whereas Yugiri can put her snells on A and B, and Madelina can paint a lot of times, as well as her beer quickly gets destroyed by competent players. So one of her awakenings being that she can throw ice fields is basically useless. One thing to note that is Yvette is not entirely useless, and I personally think that in the right circumstances, Yvette can go up to A tier. I just feel like that she has a really weird passive that the devs are trying to make better and better, and I'm just wondering why does she have this in the first place. Yvette's passive is that she grows invisible when she is in her beer mode. Would be pretty mean if she wasn't. Issue was that in season 1 you could see her pretty well while she was in this mode. This was pretty infuriating because Yvette was, I hope you have the pitchforks out, Yvette was someone who I used to play in season 1. Personally, gravitate towards characters that have anything to do with ice. I really like ice characters, so Yvette was the easiest pick for me. But it gets really frustrating when you get shot even though you are hiding, because people will know where you're hiding, so it's really frustrating. Then they changed it up. They put the distance higher and had assassin event videos, and I personally did these too. I think it's really fun. For season 3, they said, okay, you know what? They changed it up completely. Get invis. Instantly, the moment you stop moving, stop shooting, you turn invisible. You can even move a slight bit and you will still be invisible. I don't know if they have seen the assassin event video and thought, oh damn, we should have made her a duelist, or made it sentinel and give her something other than this passive and just make this her entire scheme, make it a awakening. I don't know, but I feel like this is the reason why she struggles. She's really helpful if she is there. If her ice is there, fragile is applied onto enemies and you take way more damage, as well as you slide around. If people die on the ice, it gets really hard to pick them up. As you can see here, it was it was as funny as it looks. Did a little bit different with her. I think she would be B, but so far in the current meta and with so many controllers, I feel like that Yvette sadly struggles. This turned from mean to sad because I actually do like Yvette. This is really sad. Moving on, we have my personal main, who is Celestia, and there is no other place for her to go than S tier. She is a must pick. She is super beginner friendly. She has a really nice gun that once you can control it and go on to spread, her spread is so narrow. For the trade of doing less damage, you can be really accurate with Celestia. The right hands, Celestia kills you easily, and it is not rare that Celestias are on the top of the leaderboard. Was meckerst du? Heul doch. Ich deinstalliere System 32 gleich. She feels like the most preferred healer out of the 3 supports we have. She's also the only healer that specifies and focuses on armor regeneration. She is really useful in those clutch moments where you need your armor back. You can regenerate your armor, but it helps if you are in a fight and you quickly need this boost of armor and Celestia just Qs you 3 times and you go for the kill. Because these few armor points might be the one you would have been missing in the fight. So really straightforward. Celestia is really good. The next character is Michelle. You exactly know that Michelle is S tier. Michelle has really good capabilities as a sentinel character. She focuses on gaining intel via her little turrets that she can place. Enemies get caught in it. She also has the passive of Lavine just reversed. If people are hitting her, they get revealed, which can be quite helpful if you're wondering where a shot is coming from. If you quickly turn, you can actually see who has hit you. Basically have an unavoidable scan. Also really, really good. Michelle also has a really good awakening, which makes her even stronger. Her gun is already beginner friendly enough, but if she is around her turrets with A3, she actually fires faster, and this can be the missing puzzle piece to winning a 1v1. Additionally, Michelle has one of the strongest ultimates in the game. So strong that within the Mighty Meow Cup, certain lineups for the ultimate were forbidden due to how cruel they are and how impossible it is to get rid of it. Because the only counter you have against Mighty Meow is that when Michelle places it badly and throws it right in front of your face, that while it is slowly going up, you can already damage it. So that when it is up and ready to shoot the laser beams, it is already down. And if it is not possible, the only option you basically have is a sniper that can shoot it without getting beamed the entire time. The next duelist is Aika, and Aika is going to be the first character I will be placing on B, because Aika is strong, but she's not game breaking and she needs right circumstances and right maps to really shine. Whereas other duelists in the game are not tied that much onto maps and circumstances. Aika players have to really be smart about the gameplay, and contrary to what people think, yes, she's a shotgun, spray and pray. Her shooting is really, really easy and you will hit people, but to utilize her abilities and to be able to get up the heat and make her fire turn blue and make her even stronger, you have to be thinking a little, you have to know a lot about map knowledges, and on some maps these abilities are not that easy to be exploited by her or that easily done. I don't think Aika needs to be buffed. Oh my god, please stop buffing her. I swear to god. She got buffed 2 times while they massacred my boy Baimo so hard in season 2. Aika is just in a really comfortable spot, doesn't need a buff, doesn't need that many nerfs. I scream every time an Aika kills me, but then at the end of the day I know it's just skill issues because you can actually outplay an Aika really, really well. Next up we have Meredith. Meredith is the first S tier controller in my opinion, because she has an ultimate where if you don't have the counterpart to it, she is the definition of game breaking. A Meredith ult is seen as a secured round a lot of times. Even the worst team, you're going 0-5 and you finally have the Meredith ult, or you can finally utilize it, and you are almost guaranteed to get at least this one round done. There's also maps like Hosmite or Couchy, where if you want to do fast rotates, Meredith is really, really important. Of course, you can also use wind nades, but you will have another slot free for another utility. Meredith is also the only character that can fly around. Don't know how that important is. She can help and get some picks that you and your team struggle with because you have. Moving over to Raichi, there is a big storm coming because I still think Raichi is S tier. So for those people that are not in the know, Raichi is called 180 or 180 man because his headshot used to do 180, which is entirely nuts because he is apparently a DMR character, but headshots people like he's a sniper, which is also where this meme comes from. That's not a DMR. For those that don't know that much about weapons, take Nobunaga and Medellina for example. These are the other two DMR characters. And do they instant headshot you like Reichi does?
No.
Is Reichi DMR?
No.
This game can't fool me. That's the third sniper rifle. Because of that situation, I feel like they noticed that he's not a DMR character. Now he is kind of a DMR. Also would not have been able to happen anymore anyway because of the 50 more flat HP we have starting from season 3. So even if they would not have nerfed Reichi, he wouldn't have been able to do the headshots anymore. And now with the more HP change and the little nerf, what people call it, Reichi now takes exactly 2 shots to kill you, which is devastating. I know, it's another shot, especially if you realize that his magazine now has 10 ammo instead of the 7 or 8 it had. Terrible nerfing, and I hope you are fluent in irony. Reichi can put up a wall. His A3 awakening makes it see-through for his allies. You have to be close to the wall, but it is really funny. People can't see you, and you can just go ding dong. Reichi is also straightforward. His ultimate is another wall again. He puts up an iron wall. You can see through the wall, and you can also not get hit by it. Because with the normal wall, people can shoot around and hope that they get you depending on what they think you should probably be standing at. But with the old wall, the iron wall, even if they try to guess where you are, the bullets won't do anything. I honestly think that you should still be afraid of Reichi's, especially because with the recall upgrade to the entire game, if that wasn't enough, they also specifically worked on Reichi's recoil. He basically has no recoil now. In this footage, I am not adjusting the gun with my mouse at all. I just calmly hold the mouse down and I don't have to pull back or pull up or anything. The next pick is something that hurts my entire soul and is the absolute solidification of why I'm trying to keep my bias out of the tier list as much as I can. And that is Kanami, because in my heart, Kanami is this, but Kanami is this. Kanami is strong, but she needs the right circumstances and the right maps. Kanami shines on open maps like Port Euler or 88 map, where everything is really open and people cannot run away from you. And if you can hit those shots, you're really good. This is a game with a long TTK, but only Kokuna and Kanami are able to bypass this and put this game into instant kills. I don't have to explain you guys why a sniper itself, a sniper rifle, is really strong, but depending on the situation, Kanami can be really good. You have to know her node placements, because even though it got buffed in season 2, her node is still easily destroyed. It takes like a couple bullets more, but if you don't place them correctly, it is basically useless. And now you only have a sniper, and if the sniper can't hit their shots, and become the most useless character in your team. She is a C tier in the wrong hands, in people's hands that cannot hit sniper shots. But if you are good at sniping and you know her placements for the node, she can go up to A tier, where my heart is more at ease. She also has a really nice awakening and ultimate. Her ultimate pulls in the enemies and distorts their vision, so they have trouble to shoot. Kanami also has a nice awakening that helps her teammates, but again, her awakenings are both tied onto her node. So if the node gets destroyed, or you are on a map where there are not the best placements or really evil placements, the buff that she provides for you or the nerf she provides for the enemies is not gonna be there for a long time. In good people's hands, she's an A tier, but sadly, due to sniper having a really high skill ceiling, you have to be really good with them and learn them, and you don't pick them up that quickly. For the majority of people, going to be a B unit. Fragrance is someone that has potential to have a big glow up. A couple of weeks ago, I would have put her in B, needs the right circumstances. She's viable, but other people are just better. With the new HP changes especially, I think that Fragrance is gonna be able to provide way more now to the teams. The bias is not gonna be that focused on Celestia anymore when it comes to attack. Still stands that Fragrance has a pretty bad ultimate. It can help when you are rotating, you're dwindled down immensely, everybody's almost dead. Fragrance provides speed buffs, which is also really good in fights, but it's just that other than that, she's doing what she's supposed to do. She's a healer. Her ultimate could have been a bit more nice, I think, especially because Fragrance does have a really good gun. I hope we see Fragrance more this season. I used to play her a lot back when the game came out, and she's just a really comfy pick. Next up is Madalena. Madalena is really strong, especially because she's an actual DMR. Hurts. She doesn't instant kill you like a DMR is not supposed to do. Madalena needs the right circumstances. She is really good on defense. She's not that good on attack because she's all about taking control of the side from the defender's side so that the attackers can plant bomb. It's all about people running into her pain, people being slowed down by her shots. This is one of the strongest things about her. Of course, you can play her on attack, but she's just way more viable and better on defense, which also already narrows her down a little bit. She has a really strong ultimate, but if it is not placed correctly, you can just run out of it. You can wait it out, and especially depending on where you are, if you're for example on Heaven and a Madalena pops her ult, don't get baited as seen in this example clip. I think the biggest thing about Madalena is her gun, because if people can hit you well and you get slowed by it as well, she can be really evil, but it's not that her abilities are the most evil thing. A good thing about Madalena is that she can paint entire sides due to one of her awakenings, thus make entry pretty hard. Just in general, she's supporting the team through that really well, to enemies not being able to stringify and easily get away from her already pretty hurting gun. Fuchsia, or Fuchsia, because Fuchsia is a German word. For you guys' sake, I will call her Fuchsia, but es ist Fuchsia. Fuchsia ist eine Blume, die Farbe hat ihrer Haare. Fuchsia! Fuchsia is a really strong character, really solid, but she's not broken or must already have pretty strong duelists for both attack and defense. Fuchsia is more of a pick, especially with her A3. She can flank really well, throwing a smoke on myself and then scanning with A3. I personally feel like you can really notice it if defense doesn't have their Flavia or if attack doesn't have their Ming, due to being able to gain space. If it's only Fuchsia, it feels a little bit lacking depending on the person's skills. She wall hacks due to her skill. This wall hack only intensifies with her ultimate paired together, so it's not that easy to catch a Fuchsia off guard. So this is pretty annoying, but it's not a must pick or entirely broken. But what is broken is Bimo. He was so broken that they massacred him entirely. The 5 Bimo mains all gathered and stormed Strinova's headquarters, and they did actually give him some justice. They redeemed themselves, and now he has his cooldown projectile hit back again. He also got an entirely new passive. Also, his spread is reduced, and he has more magazine and fire rate. So overall, they realized their mistake. Bimo is a really solid character, a DPS that can not sustain himself in the entirety of the battle, but Bimo is really good for pushes due to his ultimate. He can die once and then he spawns back to his ultimate, half of this HP. Literally the only thing you can do against the Bimo is camp his body, because he cannot move for a split second due to the animation, and you can kill him. Other than that, if you hear Bimo or if you see splatters of paint, it's already over. He's not one of the must-pick characters due to that many DPSs we have, but if the team has him, he can wreak havoc really well. He also has a mean awakening, which throws a decoy and can pick people really off guard, especially because you can manipulate this decoy with your dash and make people even more confused, because what's not more fun than running like a little chicken going in circles from someone who has a fully reloaded shotgun and is trying to get you. I cannot imagine anything more fun than that. A character that I love, that I used to play and that I wanted to get really, really good with is Galatea. Is a B character that can go into A, that can go into S, and destroy the entire game. Galatea can be so annoying and so game-breaking and so broken, and she can be the most useless thing on the team. Now, with the new update, they fixed and changed her damage for her gun as well as her recoil. She is now supposed to be way more friendly in close combat. As you can see on this clip, especially with her A3 pretty broken because she can be on one side of the map and on the other. She can easily get out of fights. If she feels like she's gonna be run over, she can run back. She can self-sustain. So if she gets hit and takes damage, she won't get that back. But she can get out of fights pretty quickly and live pretty long and be an annoying little pest. It is hard to place her on A or B because she needs the right circumstances, but she's also really strong. And due to her being between S and B, depending on the person, I'm going to place Galatea on E tier. We're slowly moving on to one of my most played characters, and that is Nobunaga. I feel like this might surprise some people. People will say I'm biased, but hear me out. Nobunaga is really, really strong. Not entirely a must pick, but in a lot of team comms and a lot of maps, he is an absolute must pick. Nobunaga can shut down entire sides if he has good aim all by himself while the rest of the teammates are running up to him. If he places down his domain, he gains more fire rate. He can withstand death once in his domain. He can be the vanguard of POS that POS is lacking due to his A2 revealing the enemies within the domain. And his A3 makes him able to teleport, so he can quickly help out. You cannot ADS on him with an upgrade, your vision gets distorted. He would withstand a death sentence already anyway, so if that isn't mean enough, you can also not ADS on him and you have to hip or swallow fire. Lastly, if his A2 wasn't scanned enough, he is the only and the biggest counter to Meredith. Meredith's ultimate makes it impossible to see anyone, so if you place down his ultimate, EMP, or Pulse domain, it is making enemies within the Pulse domain entirely visible, and suddenly you can see everyone. Nobunaga is basically everything. Really, really strong single shot. Now he even got an upgrade where you don't have ADS as an option, but spread, so he can take close fights even better. They won't happen that much because Nobunaga is someone who is really, really bound to one spot. He can do basically everything. He teleports, he scans, denies, because his ultimate also applies silence, which makes the enemies unable to use any of their skills. He basically does everything, so might be unpopular for some people, but I think that Nobunaga is literally the most underrated pick. Kokona is the healer of US, and similar to Fragrance, she is pretty straightforward with her healing. Only that in Kokona's case, you don't have to be glued to her side. It helps her because the drone has a certain range that she heals people. You can place this onto Flavia and make Flavia run off. You don't have to be glued to her. Also, she's a sniper, so she can go around the long TTK. Also really strong in this game. Ultimate is literally another free unit. She revives someone from death entirely, full HP, full armor. It is not rare that you are in a 2v3 and the Kokona runs off while you're trying to hold and she quickly resurrects someone, and that can most often get the kill. In contrary to Kanami, this is also a big issue. Even if you can't hit your shots, you're not entirely useless. When I have a bad day in snipers, I feel terrible when I play Kanami because I can't do anything. Whereas Kokona is healing and providing help. So if you want to start sniping, I would really tell you to go for Kokona first because you won't feel as bad as when you're playing Kanami. Lastly, we have the only duelist for defense and what I personally think the strongest duelist in the game. It's insane how long a Flavia can live, especially with a Kokona drone. She also got buffed last season. They changed up her A2, which now makes her able to use her stealth butterfly mode every single moment. Of course, she has her skill available, but if push comes to shove, she instantly can run away from you, get to safety. That's really, really good. Flavia is a really self-sufficient character. She gives herself her HP back and some armor when her orb is destroyed. She blinds people. Flavia is also really good in flanking. She has a really strong ult. She can push people. She can hold off people for a long time. People can't see her within the sphere, only if she shoots at you. That makes her be able to tank so much freaking damage because Flavia is that freaking good. Just in my personal opinion, again, pitchforks should be down. While recording this voiceover, I did not realize that the tier list that I used forgot Leona and Yugiri. You guys are gonna pretend that I have been here all this time. Okay? Thank you. Starting off with the first one who got added in season 2 is Yugiri. She's a controller in POS and she is a really solid B tier. Yugiri has a really strong passive. Whenever she hits an opponent, she also gives them corrosion. So even though the opponent is running away and is not getting hit by her anymore, they are still losing some of their armor. She cannot hurt HP with her abilities, so she is limited to that. Yugiri has 2 snails that she can place randomly anywhere, but in contrary to sentinels, they are unbreakable, so you can't get rid of them. If you see them, yeah, you just gotta go through. Yugiri has a bar that shows her how much gas she has left to use on her snails. You can turn them on and off any time. And what I also think is a little bit funny is that even though you're downed as Yugiri, you can still turn on the little snails. The problem with Yugiri is that her skills are pretty limited to one situation, so it depends on what map you play her. When she came out, I played her a lot, and I'm gonna be honest that I really like playing her because her gun feels really nice. I like the passive. There are just certain maps where her snails don't get the same value as they could on maps where you can fully utilize them, especially maps where there are not a lot of chokeholds or you can just run past them. If that is not possible on a map, Yugiri is pretty limited to her own capabilities of using her gun and applying some of that armor corrosion. Lastly, Yugiri has a strong ultimate that is sadly also tied to situations. Can be really, really good and helpful, but if it is not placed correctly, it can be useless because you can run out of it. Due to this, that you are able to outrun it most of the time, or it is misplaced, this ultimate just does not hit you and it's not really scary, you know? It doesn't make you go, oh shit, what I think they tried to do, because otherwise this is a really strong ultimate. Any of her decays are extremely fast. Imagine the whole ultimate wasn't this rectangle that slowly goes over the battlefield and you can run out of it, but for example, see it as in these instant ultimates that Lavine and Mara do, and you can't escape. Just be there instantly. The entire field that this thing can move would be there instantly, and that would be really strong. So a big issue is that one of her awakenings makes her gas turn into smoke, but the issue is that it does not only blind your opponents, but it also blinds your allies. So in a lot of situations, I want to go through a chokehold, but I'm too scared to go through there because I don't see anything. And it doesn't help that POS has no scanner except for an A2 Nobunaga, but most of the time, Yugiri snail placements do not align with Nobunaga placements. So you could be walking through the gas and get killed instantly the moment you walk through it and try to regain your sense of surroundings. The last character that came out in Season 2 is Leona, and Leona also joins Yugiri. They buffed her in Season 3, she got way better. It now takes way more time to destroy her little cubes, especially when you use the awakening that they now have a combined HP. The situation is that I feel like Leona is either played in red spots for memes and people are climbing around, And this was something like that was going on for 3 days after her release, and then everybody dropped her because her gun is not the best in 1v1s. They did buff her gun, her spread is reduced, but it's still a little minigun, and it's still not gonna be as fast as normal assault rifles because that would be cheating. Like that would suck because that's not the reality. The only thing that is really, really strong about her is her ultimate, because I've seen a lot of people place this down, and due to the new buff that she has gained where her cubes have more HP, she can stand in her ultimate way longer. Enemies can't shoot you, they have to shoot the cube you are inside of first. And now with the buff, this takes a little bit longer, and this can be really, really annoying. That is why I think if we didn't have such strong sentinels already, Leona could be A. But it's still that she is situational and tied to maps. She's really strong on Space Lab because she can put a block onto the vent. She can also close up entire really small sites, but on open spaces it's more like you're using her for memes, trying to get to places where you're not supposed to be at, do some shenanigans. It's kind of funny, but it does not help that much in battle, and you are not helping your allies that much in battle, and that is why I feel like we will have to see where she goes. And now finally, the last character that we are gonna talk about is the newest character, Mara. Mara is starting off pretty strong because I tried to not be too single-minded in the sense of I'm trying to make my own decision. Basically, the entire community is really adamant on the fact that she's broken. I tried to not put her into S tier, but there's just no way she isn't. I'm just gonna tell you how it is. Her ability goes through walls, you cannot escape it. And you also cannot escape her skill because the range is actually pretty good. Even if Amara is not that good with hitting her skill, she's gonna get one anyway. And you're gonna be scared to stand at walls. And also with her awakenings, both of them are pretty busted. She basically has a Levine knife with A2, and A3 makes the disease of her little orb just carry on and on to the next person. So that makes her really evil, makes her a little one-man army. Last but not least, because that isn't even the worst thing, Mara gets worse and worse if she is in good hands and does not die. She gains soul essence stacks upon killing people with this so-called soul orb, and it just goes up and up and up in the entire match. So you really have to basically hunt her down and kill her so that she doesn't get better and better due to her fire rate and her weapon usability being enhanced. Which is already pretty bad because she has an SMG, and you know how people beam with Flavia. That basically means that she can beam so well, she's gonna beam worse and worse and worse. Her ultimate has the similar fashion to what Nobunaga does. It applies silence, so if you are caught by her ultimate, you are unable to use any of your skills. Also, your friends won't be able to see you, won't be able to hear you. And that is the new ranking for season 3, with all the balancing changes as well as the new character. I hope you guys got some new info out of this and you'll have fun in season 3. Let me know who you think is undeserving of their spot, or who is overrated, who is underrated, and comment down below your thoughts on this tier list. And I will see you guys in the next video. Woohoo!